Mm. Got my popcorn. I'm incredibly ready. Got a decaf coffee. Mm. We are so ready, people. We are so ready. Welcome back. It's another Saturday. You know what that means. This week we're going to be watching the Smile tapes. Let me see. I was somewhat prepared. Oh, look at that. The complete series. Oh, that's. We need it. Immortal Marcus, that's the dude. This is the one who actually makes Smile tapes, from my understanding. Or not? No? Or is it Patariku? Might be Patariku. We have the complete thing. Banana Man, welcome, my dude. How are you? I think it's Patariku. I think this is the guy who's made the Smile tapes. So this is where we need to be. I'm doing quite good, my friend. I'm doing great. How about yourself? Good Saturday so far? Does he have like a proper play? He doesn't even have any playlists. Huh. I guess we could just do that. Unless... I think this would have been easier, right? I might just do that. That seems easy. Your health is getting better slowly. Good. That's good to hear, my friend. Health is important. You gotta take care of yourself.
This message is brought.
I guess this would be the easiest way to do it, since it's just complete. 1 hour. Not bad. Which means, we might be able to squeeze in Vita Carnis today if you really want. Oh, either way, this is what we agreed for this week. So this is where we're going to start. Let's do it. The Smile tapes. I'm glad I got my popcorn. I got some coffee. I'm ready, man. Does it go higher than 720p? It sure doesn't.
Podcasted to raise awareness of a new drug in circulation. The Smile drug. We advise for you to stay away from any person suspected to be under its influence. For the past few months, we have received over 500
Mr.
tips
Laugh.
related to the drug.
You know, just having a good time, my dude. How about yourself?
Scientifically investigated. Its most obvious effects are mania, uncontrollable laughter, violent tendencies, and the alleged smile in which the drug was named after. How do you ensure your safety outside?
So far, it's like the movie Smile.
Dark alleys, since most reported deaths happen
You're right,
in
good
the
man.
dark alley.
Good.
If you hear suspicious laughter, run
you know about
as
the Smile
fast as
tapes?
you can. Avoid eye contact with the person. Once the person notices you, it will begin pursuit. Do not interact. You will most likely be...
See? Keyboard work. Okay. So I guess so far we understand it causes basically uncontrollable mania in people. Potentially makes them killers, I guess. Okay. Have a fungus going on with spores. That's probably the way of contamination, right? Cool. Okay. Brought the emergency room in the same day. Complaining of a severe headache and acute facial cramps. Okay. None of the medicine helped. Right, so it's a thing completely alien to us. Taken to the laboratory, right? Okay. Guess we get a little bit of progression. Right. Suffer meningitis before subsiding within 2 days. Kind of random. Patients remain sane. Well, they don't look it. Don't look at me. Stage 2, week 2. Jesus. Any resistance have been subdued by the fungus. So the fungus is taking over. Faces begin to contort to a wide grin. The lady looks very different now. The dude just looks creepy, smiley, that's all. Becomes predatory. I'm sorry, what? Right. I don't understand what they mean by predatory. No further details about that? Okay. Fungus has permanently damaged facial tissue. No kidding. I know what you mean, Laugh. I'm the same. But some people in the Discord mentioned we should watch this, so. Alright, while we're here. I don't mind. It's always nice to have a little Saturday stream. Or just stop functioning. Okay. Behavior and motor functions begin to decline, right. Or the later part of the stage. Two days before your birthday. Happy birthday, my dude. You got any good plans for it? Did the other patient die or something? Brains in late Alzheimer's. So within a month. Yeah, so patient 2 died. I gotcha. Going bowling, that's always a good idea, man. Always a good time. Yeah, bowling's a lot of fun. I'm no good at bowling, but it's always fun. Bowling's just fun, you know? But my mantra in life is, you don't have to win at everything. Just have a good time. You know? That's all that matters. It does help if you're good at stuff, though. Popcorn really helps. Sudden burst of gas came out the patient's mouth. Gross. Was it actually spores? So it continues to infect further people after they die. It's pretty cool. My man Sean G. Oh, an excerpt. Okay. $19.94. Not for groceries. And the strange man threw flour at me on my way home. I was more weirded out than I was pissed. Okay. Taking Max to the vet tomorrow. Great. He's been quiet for days. Ooh. Is Max a dog? The next day, I had this vivid dream where I was flying through space. It's like I became one with the universe. Then I saw a man. And I woke up. Okay. Ah, this dude. And the next day, Max has been feeling better. He began to bark again. Aw. Aw. I feel relieved. What a happy ending. I had a very similar dream to yesterday. Flew through a colorful space. Forgot who I was. And I saw him. That man again, he smiled. Ooh. Very creepy. Jumping ahead a bit. December 11th, okay. Been having the same dream for the past week. And it's kind of worrying me now. That's fair, I get that. Does this mean something? Probably. Changing my life? Couldn't stop thinking about it all day. Oh, hang on a minute. We had a little something else there at the end. Hang on. Oh, dang it. It was so close. So close. Ah, come on. That outrageous how quick you have to be. No. Oh, come on. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. My face won't stop twitching. I'm having a migraine right now. Maybe my worst one so far. Could just be stress. So I told my professor I can't attend for this week. That's fair. It's been 4 days since the migraines and twitches began. I'm in agony. I will go to the doctor. Took you a little while, didn't it? Don't tell me he's immediately got a doctor's appointment. Just stress and electrolyte imbalance. Just take pain meds and relax. Stay hydrated. That's true. Hydration is important. December 18th. My face hurts. Feels like someone is pulling the sides of my mouth up. It's getting harder to blink. Oh god. That's bad. The pills don't work. Oh no, Max. Yeah, I don't understand either. I thought it was getting better. Doing just fine. Just before Christmas, that's sad. My friends say I look a lot happier recently. But after your dog died, I am not. Oh, because his face, yeah. Behind the forced smile. I am suffering. Both physical and mental anguish. Doctors were stumped by my illness. Boxing Day. I am happy. I feel full of energy. I felt the man's aura. He changed me. For the better. I am happy, I am happy, I am happy, I am happy. My man Sean G. 27th, huh? It's never ending. Weird. December 28th. World's too unbearable for a simple man like me. Too much vice. Too much sadness. But I have the power to fix this. Everyone I see shall become happy. I hope I make you happy. New Year's. Flash warning, my god. Sean G, no. Mass homicide right on New Year's. Wow. That's crazy. Perpetrator was armed with a knife. Protect facial expression. You weren't able to subdue him? 17 casualties. That's crazy. Why would it get so high? You think they would have shot him sooner? And 10 injuries? My god. Well, you look pixelated, so I'm not sure. You're in a happier place now. That's good. That's good. He smiles. Oh, good. I don't know who he is, but, you know, great.
Welcome to Far History, where we explore Earth's huge past. Today, we ask the question, where did life originate? Well, there are a bunch of theories surrounding this, so let's get right into them. Our first theory is abiogenesis, life from no life. It proposes that organic beings originated from non-living matter in hydrothermal vents. This creates a chemical soup that may have caused a reaction, creating the simplest forms of life. In the last episode, I told you that the Earth was literally hell. So how could life survive in such conditions? Well, Earth only stayed hell until oceans appeared around 200 million years since the Earth's formation. Water is the most important ingredient to life. Without it, life would have never flourished, and also helped cool the Earth down to a relatively comfortable 212 Fahrenheit. Transformia. Now this theory is a bit more far off, but it's the most interesting. It suggests that life came from another world and exists throughout the universe when asteroids or other space dust hit a fertile planet. Some of its debris gets ejected back into space, possibly containing life forms. Around 4.1 to 3.8 billion years ago, the Earth experienced a late heavy bombardment, possibly indicating that life may have arrived from those asteroids.
Chidinulu? Oh, it's like South California, is it? All right. Interesting. Twenty-six. 9. 20. 15. 18. 8. 25. 4. 8. 19. 8. Coded message, perhaps? Excuse me. So rude.
9, 10, 15, 24, 2, 20. 19. 10.
Yes, Mr. Laugh. What are we damning? So this weird signal goes on for over 10 minutes.
18.
Why so many numbers?
26. 15.
Because it can't be coordinates, because it'd be way too long.
17.
That's why I think it's some kind of coded message, but
18. 2. 5. 22. 2. 6. 22. 15.
no worries, Banana Man.
5. 8. 8. 21.
We're getting a lot of weird information so far. But this one I don't see the correlation with anything.
17. 24. 26. 16. 2. 19. 8. 8. 10.
It just sounds like a random sequence of numbers.
10.
But going over
9.
maybe 20, 30 minutes, I don't know how long the signal goes on for. But what does this have to do with the fungus and affecting people with the smile thing and stuff? I don't know. I'm not quite sure.
16. 26. 21. 8.
How long is the sequence?
2. 6. 8.
There's clearly multiple coded messages.
6. 26. 17. 17.
I don't think it ever went higher than 26. So it could just be a very simple substitution cipher where A is 1, B is 2, etc., etc. Because yeah, they've never in these weird little snippets of messages, they never go higher than 26. So most likely there are just very simple basic messages. Which I mean we could probably decode, but I get the feeling somebody else has already done that. Comments turned off. Wow. Well, somebody probably has decoded them, but for the time being, not sure how important.
12.
Not sure. So get random sequences of messages for about 20, 25 minutes just after midnight. A number station. I don't think it would be very hard to decipher them. Issue number 2. Alright. We learned some stuff. As of October 13th, 1995. 1,489 deaths. 5,000 hospitalized. That's just crazy. So within a year, tons of people have died. Plenty of people have been hospitalized. Here we go. It's shown that the fungus is deemed unstable and prone to mutation. How'd they even let it get this bad? Scientists fear that this may result into more variants of the disease, right? Vita Carnis to be more understandable. 100%. 100%. Transmission. But it's all in the fun of the discovery, so I get that. Fungus naturally transmits around 2 billion spores. 2 billion! Holy shit. That's a lot of spores. At least through the closest orifice after the host dies, right? Typically ends up being the mouth. In the, pores are orifices too, but whatever. Anyone within 10 meters risks infection. They can linger for as long as 30 hours? Wow, that's crazy. Or there have been reports of people intentionally infecting victims. Right. Here's my criticism, right? So they've been aware of this crazy fungus with this insane capability of infecting people and killing them and whatever. They've been aware of it for a year. And, you know, within that year, over 1,000 people have died, which is a substantial number, but it's not an insane number. It's not like COVID levels, for example, or any other crazy disease. I mean, even the flu kills more people than that. But I digress. So they're aware it can kill people. Over 5,000 have been hospitalized, right? Still an impressive number, but within a year, not, catastrophic, shut down the world kind of stuff, And very quickly on in their experiments, they've understood how dangerous and how contagious this is and things. And they're also aware that, so let's say they've got 2 people with the fungus in a quarantine like they've done before, with some of the first victims and stuff. And they are aware, at least at a point, that, after they expire, if they're trapped in a, sealed room like they do with containment areas and stuff, after like 30 hours after they expire and they've spewed out the spores, that the spores just kind of die. So if the spores haven't moved on to a new host, they can't do anything. They just cease to exist. It says 30 hours, which is a long time, but at the same time, you just kind of trap all the contagious people, I don't know, in like a shipping container out in the middle of the sea for, a week or two, and eventually that's it, right? I don't know. Wear a gas mask then? Yeah, on God. Just a bit, I don't know, I was expecting more impressive numbers, Like if it was really that crazy to contain, because it doesn't sound like these people are superhuman or like, whatever. It sounds like they still can kind of carry on with their day to day, and they obviously are infected because they get the crazy big grin and stuff. I don't know. There's just certain things that kind of niggle me so far, but we're only 20 minutes in. We gotta give it the benefit of the doubt and see what happens. Police are currently patrolling areas known for frequent spore puffing. Source and emergence. It's pretty gross. Spore puffing. The exact source of this fungus is still unknown. That's fair. First appeared as a new drug being sold in the black market. Oh yeah. Fire always works well against aliens. You are very right. You're very right. So the fungus was only brought to public attention after Sean Gomez on New Year's Day killed people. Right. Yeah, they found his journal, obviously, where we learn he gets infected and stuff. Evidence implies that Gomez was infected December 4th as a victim of spore puffing. But where did it say in there that he was, like, doing any of that? He appears to develop delusions towards the new year before sending into a violent killing spree. Yeah, kind of weird, but I don't remember anywhere in that journal talking about him spore puffing or catching anything. Died around stage 2. Okay. Oh, a morgue incident. The morgue has been quarantined since the incident last week. The 2 morticians closest to the body displayed minimal symptoms. Proper safety measures were not maintained at the time of the... It's always people not doing the jobs well. Protocol was made stricter to ensure safety. Yeah.
My fellow Americans,
Doesn't have to be randomly
for the
loud.
past few months, our citizens have been under attack by a new and deadly force, a fungus that affects the minds of our citizens and causes them to kill other people. Our scientists and police forces have been making efforts to contain and treat the infected, but it's only had a minimal effect. I I have also declared an emergency in San Diego City. So I now advise every citizen to stay inside. If we don't act now, this may escalate into a countrywide epidemic. We may possibly deal with hundreds of thousands of deaths. I wouldn't want that on my citizens. I hope we are able to get through this. Thank you.
You're right, USA.
The following message is transmitted at the request of the San Diego County Emergency Management.
San Diego.
San Diego and Tijuana are under attack by the infected.
Rock Flag and Eagle.
8,000 people have been infected and are currently causing havoc in the streets.
There's also no
Shelter
subtitles.
in
So.
place immediately or risk your life. Lock and barricade your doors and windows.
They are stronger than you.
Prepare to
They're stronger than you think.
isolate and manage your resources. Be vigilant and wear protective equipment to avoid breathing in the spores.
Wear
The
condoms.
President has ordered the National Guard to San Diego.
November 27th, 1995. So much time has passed. Is it supposed to be that face? Okay. Isn't this so beautiful? I don't know. I don't think he looks all that good. The bloodshed. That's what you mean. No, it's pretty gruesome. They fill you with such joy. You got problems, buddy. Now we can be together? What? In a happier place? Oh, now we can be together. Okay. This is just so strange. This is why analog horror explaining YouTubers always quit. I mean, a fair amount of it is explainable. I think there's just a lot of like bizarre things as well to digest, which they make things kind of like, I don't know how everything can connect. Because yet again, what was the point of like the radio signal thing? Not really sure, if I'm honest with you. Causes physical and mental deterioration. There's a stage A. Okay. Oh no, a variant. Sorry, we're talking about variants now. Yeah, have you seen this man in your dreams, dude? Exactly. They just took that guy and they just morphed him so they could use him in a horrific way, which is clever, but you know. Okay, so variant B, benign. So it looks like it doesn't really do any changes to the person. Its effects are minimal, but that's a very common thing. So, those of you that may not be aware, viruses mutate. Like the probably the best example is the flu or the common cold or whatever, right? So long time ago when they were first discovered, they were incredibly deadly. They were far worse than they are now. However, they mutate over time, especially the more people it goes through and stuff. It has to mutate. That's how a lot of like biological bacteria and stuff survive. Is they mutate and they kind of develop into different things and they have different symptoms, blah 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 blah. However, deadly things tend to get less deadly the more they mutate, which is why the flu is now more of like a you're sick for a few weeks kind of a thing. You get your flu jabs every year kind of stuff, because it's mutated so much. Which is probably an example here where it's showing like variant A is this crazy insane thing where it really changes you and it can kill you and it affects other people. And variant B, it's not even the same. It's changed an insane amount, which is maybe a little drastic. Usually, it's like a slower mutation over times, which is why there are variants of COVID, for example, is a more relevant one. Just so you just so you learn a little something today. You got to break codes down, enter weird websites for an analog horror. Yeah, it becomes more of like an ARG at that point, which I think is fine. I think there's nothing wrong with, things making you go outside the box and really kind of like start playing around with the real world elements and, other websites and codes and stuff. I think that's fun. But I think the problem is it really makes you want to, like, you really want to know that that's what you're getting into. You need to know ahead of time that what you're going to be doing might require more time and effort than just sitting down and watching something. You know what I mean? It's like it's like how you might prepare for let's say a run, right? So you've been training for exercise, for a bit of a run. All you're expecting is you're doing a running, and then you get to the place and it's like, oh, actually it's like a triathlon. So there's running, there's biking, there's swimming, and you're like, well, I'm not prepared for all of that. I thought it was just the one thing. Similar kind of concept. Let's see what else is going on. Still pose a threat of transmission. That's understandable. Seizing and coughing out the spores. That's gross. That's real gross. Sarah Campbell. Like, quarantine yourself, bro. She's the first patient to have this variant. Ah. So you are patient 0 for variant B. After being exposed to spores in the morgue. Currently quarantined observed. Good. Smart. And then they're going to be like, oh, she broke out. Ooh. I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? You've already got a variant C? Oh, God. Oh, my goodness. Laugh's gonna go record a video and do some Cuphead DLC. My dude, have a good little time. Cuphead's a fun game. Pretty difficult, but pretty fun. Have a good one, buddy. So we've already got multiple variants. It looks fairly similar to A, except the physical changes aren't quite the same. Oh. Bulletproof. I saw bulletproof on screen for a second there. So variant C is much deadlier. Interesting mutation. Cuphead's the reason you have anger issues. Understandable. Hey, Bullet Hell Souls like. I might play some Dark Souls or Elden Ring on this channel. Just kind of do some chill streams where I'm kind of trying to play through. I think it'd be kind of fun. I'm no good at those games. That's why I think it'd be fun. Went back in time now. January 29, 1994.
I'm in a hotel in Kilu to hike roughly 25 miles south from here. I'll be hiking through the Alturas Douradas Trail around 3 p.m. Hopefully, I'll be back before nightfall because temperatures can plunge down to 32 over there, especially in January. Wish me luck. I made it stop. I didn't feel my way on the top since I didn't want to waste my day on long and mundane walks. It's quite a good view up here.
So this dude's gone hiking. But back in 1994.
Jesus Christ.
I wonder if this could have been shown.
Hello? Hello? You need help? Hello?
Jenny baby, you know it, you know it.
What's going on there?
Manic laughter.
Anyone in here?
Well, he was lured to a place, and he was killed. Nothing surprising. Thank you for the loudness. Just unnecessary. Missing. Ah, so that was the dude at the table. She's trying to tell us he was deformed and he changed and he got affected with the stuff. I get it, I get it. There was another noise. Couldn't quite make it out though. Issue number 5. Oh. We learning more cool stuff? I hope so. Yes, they killed the guy who went to help them. It was clearly a ruse. The mortality rate has gone up in a couple of months. Oh. To a microbe in the Yucatan region. Okay. What's it now? You're saying it was from dinosaur times. Mr. Harris is here.
There are many theories about their extinction.
Alhamdulillah, my friend, alhamdulillah.
Written in the sky. A cosmic shower of asteroids or a large meteor struck the Earth with an astounding impact.
So now they're saying it's obviously come from another planet. Crashed onto the Earth. Oh, it might have been the asteroid that took out the dinosaurs. Right.
Not all life on Earth was extinguished with the dinosaurs. The smaller animals emerged to fill the evolutionary niche left vacant by the demise of the dinosaur.
Okay. So the fungus came from a different planet. It was part of the asteroid that destroyed the dinosaurs. Abelimundo Rhesus. The Jester. Oh wow, that's fun. Ever like a horror the government doesn't have any control? You're right. You're right. Oh wow, look, this is a completely different like format all of a sudden. Much cleaner. Seeing as like the horseshoe bomb. I hope it's not that bad, Harris. Okay, so we're getting a log from this Oliver guy. Don't know if he can survive any longer. He ran out of food. Every day just gets worse. I think this was 1995 or 1996. The smoke suffocates me, right? So it's probably immense amounts of the spores. Sealed off most of the ventilation in my apartment. Oh. Smart man. Because I fear that the spores may come through. It's obviously it's run rampant and it's gone crazy. All I hear is the crackle of fire just blocks away from here. Cool. The laughter of the infected. That is pretty creepy, I'll be honest with you. And the screams of the unfortunate. Radiation air. Yeah, I don't think it's quite radiation, Harris. I think it's just a fungus, basically. He's finished his last food supply. Doesn't have a choice. He's having a bad time. Yes, it's off center. Don't be surprised that this is just odd. Quieter side of town. A banana man said, "Why don't they sell gas masks so nobody's gonna get infected until it evolves?" Yeah, because you know. They didn't make that many, especially back in the 90s. I mean, look at the masks that we ended up with during COVID, like, you know, pretty just basic fabrics. It just shows, you know, they don't have that much money and potential to really protect everybody, which is not great when you think about it. I agree, Banana Man. Harris, where have you been? You can hear the infected. They sound pretty creepy. Being chased by some laughy people. You mentioned there's like fires and stuff, but the place looks honestly fine. Bug spray? And a torch? You're gonna burn him like a little flamethrower? That's cool. Wow. Does it have to be that loud? Does it have to be that loud? Oh, hi. Your eyes are weirdly white for being potentially burned alive. Pretty strange. Oh, fire! Fire totally works. Fire totally works. One of the most effective forms of anything.
Campbell, here just to ask you a few questions. I know this whole situation right now is a lot for you to handle. Being locked away in a room, far from your loved ones, and subject to rigorous tests that have probably pushed you past the point of exhaustion. But the reason for this is that you might be able to help us end this whole epidemic. It has been 3 weeks since you were diagnosed with the fungus. How are you feeling right now?
I'm fine. Facial pain's been gone for 2 days. So my cough's gotten worse.
You've completely lost your urge to smile, right?
This would be the variant B lady.
Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting. You're the first person to have this variant of the disease that we are aware of. Every case prior to yours has ended in a violent death. You seem to have recovered from it. You see, our early understanding of your case is that it's a late bloomer. Its course runs slower, but eventually it will kill the host. I think we should investigate if your recovery is the result of a weaker, non-lethal variant, or if it's because of your immune system. If, and only if, it is entirely your immune system responsible for your phenomenal recovery, we can extract your antibodies, create vaccinations, and for immunity, and possibly make a cure.
Well, I hope that's the case.
Now, let's talk about the incident. Is there any reason why you were not following standard safety protocols in the morgue? Miss Campbell?
I wasn't in my right mind at the time.
Can you elaborate?
I was in grief. I still am. I couldn't cope with it at the time. I couldn't focus. I could have not shown up for work today. But I had a son to raise. And without its father, it's so much harder to do. Now I'm here, stuck in the laboratory.
I'm really sorry for your loss and your stay here. We can send your son here to talk to you. I know it's been agonizing spending your time in here away from him.
Please do.
Alrighty then, I will be in touch soon. You
What am I
need
eating?
your rest.
I've got some popcorn. I've also got some pretzels.
In the coming days.
I shouldn't be snacking so much, but
we might see an ending to this ordeal.
so they're attempting to make a cure.
Research laboratory was infiltrated by
In
the
the hopes
Smiler.
that
Despite
she's
the high
not
security of
really
the
affected by the
facility,
variant B
it was
anymore.
not able to withstand the enormous wave of Smilers. Everyone, the personnel and subjects were killed in the bloody raid. All but one.
Uh-oh. Oh, cool. Hi. There is no cure. Fun. Hi. How you doing? Okay then. Morse code. April 4th, 1996. I think our horses won. What kind of video is this? Don't worry, Harris. This isn't real. This is an analog horror series we were told to watch. It's called the Smile Tapes.
Wait, what? No, 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 no.
There's no need to be so loud. These things, man.
I was there during that whole outbreak. I stayed in my basement for a whole year. Yeah. I had to get used to living in such a claustrophobic space where I'd risk getting infected or brutally murdered by those psychos. The tricky part was getting food. I
You too.
carefully walk around the streets with a gas mask, avoiding
Dan
the
and
infected
Harris, you're
areas.
both funny. You're
And
both
the
funny.
competition for food was like really, really high. So lots of fights would happen. The supermarkets that were abandoned, with like a high chance of like a smiler, intervening. And I got to witness one myself. God, oh my God, it was the bloodiest thing I have ever seen. It was insane. And later on, the outbreak, we learned that these like seemingly unstoppable variant disease could be burned by heat and caustic. And it was quite the revelation that we needed, because we realized that we could fight back with these, impossible to kill spiralers. And I mean, those creatures could lift cars and survive bullets. And they were really scary because they also don't really even look like humans anymore. So when it finally ended, I decided to move to San Francisco for good, because initially I was too traumatized to stay in that city. Went through a violent outbreak. And since then, I've led a peaceful life, got married, had a child, but, that whole outbreak, it feels like it just ended yesterday. It's hard to believe it was 20 years ago. Time flies.
Man, it's only season 1? But it says complete. What? What? Why would it say season 1? And I'm confused now. So is this actually Elliot? Oh god, excuse me. Welcome to the chat, my dude. Yeah, so I'm confused. Is there more small tapes? Or part 1 compiled? They lie about. Oh, is that a different thing? Because then it goes. I'm so confused. Hang on. What? I'm so confused. Because then we did all these. Well, that isn't part of it. Is he doing more than one thing at a time? Because it looks like a lot of these pertain to that. That was the hike one, the volume 3, the indie bit. Mule. So photos I took. I don't know if that's part of the small tapes. Open wide. Felt his aura. I feel like. I don't know. I really don't. Well, Neopti Lemur told us to watch, so I was hoping he kind of guide us through where we're supposed to go. But I kind of feel like that was everything, and then maybe it kind of goes on from there. But there's not much else to go on beyond it. It's like, I mean, it's good. It's good. I think there's a lot of like fun and maybe potential for it, but so at the end, right? So the interview they had with that guy who Lucas Sutterfield was in his basement and everything, and it was all fun, right? But he's talking about how inevitably they figured out that with fire they could essentially at least kill the variant C's and most likely kill the variant A's as well, because the variant B, there was only the one lady who potentially could have created a cure for them and stuff, but they were able to actually fight back and kind of end it, right? So where would it go from there if it's more than one season? I'm not entirely sure. All we do know about it is the fact it's a fungus which can produce spores, and those spores infect the people, and it can mutate them in a certain way. A lot of them end up getting crazy, horrific smiles and murderous tendencies. But it sounds like within a month they die anyway, and then they produce more spores to infect more people. I don't really know. I feel like there was supposed to be more about it, but it kind of just ended. Like, yeah. It's pretty good though. It's pretty good. Like let's say you're introducing somebody to analog horror for the very first time, and you don't want to throw them straight into the deep end of all the crazy good stuff. I guess this is a decent starting point. It's not great, if I'm honest. There's definitely better ones, but it's all right. It's all right. That's my 2 cents on that. That's my 2 cents. Sorry, guys. Anyway, can we watch Basswood County? That is on the list. That is on the list, absolutely. Harris, I agree with you. I don't fully understand the video either. I tried to make sense of it, but some of it, like, what was the point of the signal? Some things I still don't really fully get, but whatever, I guess. Vita Carnis, yeah. Could jump into Vita Carnis. I did say we'd either do that this week or next week. I guess we could do Vita Carnis. Vita Carnis is good. Vita Carnis is good. So I would be pretty happy to jump into that. Darian Quilloy. See, at least he's smart. Look, you want to know how to watch it? I've already put you together the whole thing. No problem. Oh my god, they got a season 2 coming? I didn't know that. Awesome. Alright, guys. We're going to I think the full documentary is like all of it combined. So we might skip that one unless... I think there might be bits in it, and I'm not entirely sure, but we'll have a little look anyway. Right. We'll jump into some Vita Carnis. This one is good. But it's because there's also a lot of like fleshed out details about it. It's like an entire ecosystem. This whole thing is great. I'm not going to spoil too much. It's really good. If you haven't seen this, it's really good. Really, really good.
On planet Earth, life has thrived for millions of years. Creatures big and small have found ways to adapt and evolve to flourish in all types of environments. From barren wastes to lush forests, life can be found.
This is Vita Carnis, yes.
Earth has homed these creatures since the
There's
dawn
quite a
of
few
life
videos
itself.
to it.
Only until very recently, things have changed. New
catch
life
up on
forms
some
have
stuff.
appeared all around the globe and completely changing the balance of nature and what we know about evolution itself. That is why we, at National Living Meat Research, have been studying these new species, trying to help educate everyone about these creatures and their wondrous ways of life. First, what are these new life forms? Since their explosive arrival across the globe in 1931, there has been much debate on what these newcomers are and where they came from. Are they extraterrestrials coming to invade Earth? Or are they demons who come from hell to purge humanity? From what our scientists have discovered, no. The origins of these creatures are solely to Earth, miraculously out of nowhere. We don't know why or how, but one thing is for certain, Earth is now their home. What these creatures are is mysterious and still not well known today. But here is what we do know. These creatures are comprised mainly of muscle tissue, organs, and bones. They greatly resemble animals with no skin, or store-bought meat. Because of these characteristics, they have been named accordingly as Vita Carnis. The Carnis species consume decaying, organic matter, but their main diet is composed of raw meat, not including their Carnis relatives. The Carnis only appear in places where there is an abundance of crawl, which leads to the first creature of the Carnis species, the crawl. The crawl is a growth of meaty tendrils that closely resemble the small intestine, the only difference being the dark red coloration. These tendrils grow in a similar pattern as vines, mold, or fungi. A primary stem structure is the host to divisions of other, smaller branches. In each tendril contains a variety of veins, arteries, and other similar organs used to transport nutrients absorbed from its surroundings. The ends of these tendrils are equipped with organelles used to absorb water and organic matter necessary for growth. The source of these organic materials is mainly found in dirt and soil on surrounding surfaces. Using its root-like tendrils, it absorbs the material and processes it into usable energy. Although, the crawl also obtains energy through another means. Using a sophisticated form of photosynthesis, the dark pigmentation of the smaller branches is ideal for absorbing sunlight, and therefore allowing solar energy to fuel the crawl's growth. Because of its efficiency, it thrives in almost all types of environments, easily allowing it to spread across the world, and can be found pretty much anywhere.
Great.
Its recent inclusion in the ecosystem has caused many major changes in nature's balance. One may
You just, like,
assume
look
that
at
the
how much
crawl's
detail
presence
goes
may
into this one.
outcompete
It's
any
amazing.
other
This is just one
competitors,
video.
but due to its unique life cycle, where
Vita
old
Carnis is
branches
honestly-
fall
it's
off and decay
really,
into
really good
nutrient-rich
series.
compost, all forms of life seemingly flourish instead.
I totally get
The
that banana,
crawl's
man. I
abundance
totally get
grants
that.
plenty of nourishment to all animals, from plants feeding on the decayed crawl, herbivores thriving on increased plant population, and carnivores feeding on both the abundant prey, and are able to eat the crawl as well. The presence of all these animals leave behind waste, which will be broken down and consumed by the crawl, and the cycle begins again. This form of symbiosis leads to an environment where all populations thrive. Humanity also uses the crawl to our advantage.
Are we learning science?
Because of the supernatural rate of growth and its richness in nutrients, it has been sustainably cultivated into domestic farms. The crawl is harvested and processed into fertilizer, which greatly increases crop yield and quality. The crawl may also be used as a food source for humans, and reliably so. But due to its unkindly appearance and taste,
weird,
it has yet to
like,
reach cuisine
cooking
standards.
recipes and stuff. I remember that.
The crawl also plays a very important role in the
It's like a
next
video of
creatures
somebody
that
like
we have been
making
studying.
crawl into food. I remember that.
Sometimes, in a crawl-populated environment, a node of meat may develop on one of the branches. This node will fall off and grow into a functioning organism, and go to live on as an independent animal.
Yep.
This leads us to the upcoming species that we will be discussing. The first of these creatures are the trimmings.
The trimmings. Oh, Darian Quilloy. You so good. Science about Chernobyl. You so silly, Harris.
The trimmings. Trimmings are small animals that resemble skinned raccoons. They are commonly known to have a plump body, round head, small eyes, nose and ear holes, and an agape mouth.
Take care, Mr. Harris.
They are also
Good seeing
equipped
you.
with a diversity of limbs. All individual trimmings are unique, each with a different body shape, number of limbs, and other characteristics. One thing they all share in common is that they are made mostly of meat tissue, and are a maximum of 20 centimeters in length, no larger than a basketball. Its life starts with its separation from the crawl. It will wonder to find anything that is edible and able to consume. Although it is an omnivore, being able to hunt meat and forage for plant matter, trimmings are almost entirely scavengers. Their diet consists of rotting plants and meat, including, but not limited to, fruits, vegetables, roots, seeds, insects, and deceased animals. Although its appearance is unsightly, it is a cowardly creature, only fleeing, screeching, and hiding when threatened. Because of its lack of defensive traits, it lies near the bottom of the food chain, making it easily overpowered and picked off very regularly by predators. Naturally, its population would eventually die out. This is not the case. The crawl constantly produces a large quantity of trimming nodes, keeping up their numbers. Naturally, trimmings can be found wherever there is abundant crawl. Trimmings grow at a decent pace, reaching maturity at around 7 months, having a maximum lifespan of 2 to 4 years. Although they are plentiful, humanity has no proper way to implement trimmings into society. Their overabundance has even considered them pests, due to them digging through trash bins and making excessive noise at night.
I think there's like a super massive one too, isn't
some
there?
people still keep trimmings as pets, and relatively domesticate them.
Crazy.
Nuisance or not, trimmings are a wondrous creature. From their plentiful numbers, to their skittish nature, they are truly a thing to behold. The next species on our list is the meat snake.
Oh no, it's the meat snake, isn't it? The meat snake that got crazy big. I'm remembering stuff.
The meat snake. The meat snake is a worm-like creature, made of a variety of types of meat, coated in a transparent, skin-like membrane. Its size varies during its lifespan, depending on how much it consumes. When it first separates from the crawl, it is only a few centimeters in length. Eventually, it will reach an average length of 5 meters. Although, under extreme conditions, like natural disasters, war, or plague, it can greatly surpass this length. The meat snake's diet consists entirely of dead animals or parts. A meat snake is incapable of consuming a healthy, living organism. The meat snake locates its food by using a tongue-like organ covered in sensors to touch and feel its environment. The sensors catch particles of decaying meat, notifying the meat snake that there is food nearby. This
Rolling Giant is on the
shares
list.
Many similarities to regular snakes.
His Game Pixels
hence
makes some
the
great
meat snake
stuff.
snake.
Like the oldest view, obviously the back rooms.
Once it locates the corpse, the meat snake will open its jaw and swallow the entire body whole. Once the entire body is consumed, the meat snake's stomach will release a variety of chemicals. Some will break down soft tissue like skin, and the connection points between muscles. Others chemicals will then ferment and preserve the tissue to keep it from breaking down for as long as possible.
That one's probably next week.
After that, the remaining flesh and bones will move along
This is
the
the
meat
oldest view
snake's
in the Rolling
tract
Giant.
and slowly be implemented into its own structure, extending
Definitely
the meat
watch
snake.
those. I'm very interested.
Unsatisfactory parts like skulls, pelvises, hair, and fingernails will be excreted. Speaking of skulls, the meat snake will take the skull from the consumed
No worries,
organism
Banana Man.
and
You
use
take
it
care,
as its
pal.
own. Each meat snake has its own skull, each corresponding to what that one has consumed. During its lifespan, it will swap or replace these skulls if needed. A meat snake's lifespan depends entirely on how much a meat snake consumes. The longest one has lived for was 28 years. The meat snake has no predators and is immune to disease, due to its preserving chemicals. The only significant ways a meat snake can die is through starvation, burning, or complete destruction of the meat snake's membrane coating. Interestingly, the meat snake is the only member of the Carnis family that is able to reproduce. When a meat snake reaches an excessive size, and is in the conditions to do so, it will commence mitosis, splitting itself in two. Then the now two meat snakes will go on their separate ways and live on as two distinct organisms. Meat snakes can only be found in moderate temperature climates, not too hot, not too cold. Their population depends entirely on the amount of corpses available. Where there is death, there are meat snakes. Humanity will use them to our advantage. Meat snakes are a very efficient and clean way of disposing of any meat products. The preserving fluid within the meat snake's body disinfects the carrion, preventing the spread of disease. Humans use meat snakes in butcher shops as a waste bin, dispose roadkill, within war on the battlefield to dispose of festering bodies and parts, and within zoos to dispose of deceased animals. They are extremely tame, not caring if any creature is around them, only acting defensively when it is within consuming a meal. This means they are very easy to tame. Overall, meat snakes are a marvelous creature with a very interesting way of sustaining itself. It is an amazing experience to encounter one, as long as you don't mind the smell. Our next creature is the mimic.
Such a good series. The Mimic. These boys are pretty creepy.
The mimic. The mimic is a bipedal creature with uncanny similarities to humanoid anatomy. They greatly resemble humans without skin, with added exaggerated features. These features include extended finger length, longer limbs, bulging, empty eyes, and their most prominent feature, a wide, teeth-filled smile. Although it resembles a happy face, this is due to coincidence, and is only how their facial structure is shaped. The maw of the mimic contains much more teeth than humans, and their teeth is comprised almost entirely of incisors, with some canine and premolars in the back. This tooth composition is ideal for biting down onto meat and swallowing chunks whole. A mature mimic's diet is comprised entirely of human flesh.
Human flesh.
Because of this, they are found solely around human-populated areas. The mimic's life cycle is made of 3 stages. In the first stage, a young mimic separates from the crawl. They closely resemble their trimming relatives, but are thin, sleek, and only have 4 appendages. In this stage, the young mimic will hunt small animals, moving on to larger and larger as they grow. Once large enough, it will begin metamorphosis into the next stage of life. Once fully transformed, it will resemble the description mentioned in the beginning. Its hunting style changes and becomes much more complicated. It now stalks and feeds only on humans. It will locate human-populated area and begin its search for an easy target. To blend in, it may use objects to conceal itself. These include clothing, mannequins, and furniture. Once a target has been found, the mimic will observe its prey and learn its routine and when it is most vulnerable. This is typically when the human is asleep at night. Once the prey is within position, the mimic will advance silently until it is close enough. The mimic will then execute and immediately begin consumption. Once the mimic has had its fill, it will leave the scene, a fair distance away from the human population, and begin to digest its meal. Although, in the case that a human is awake, a mimic will use a variety of sounds to either lure or startle prey into cornering themselves. Once a human is in place, it will swiftly attack and kill the helpless target.
It got me. I thought somebody was knocking. They got me. Mr. EMT, welcome, my dude. We finished the smile tape, so we moved on to Vita Carnis. Oh, this video is good right here. A mimic encounter. This is hella creepy. You ready for this? It's coming. He's coming. Look at that. I mean, just look at that, right? Like, oh, it's so creepy.
The next stage of the mimic's life cycle has 2 potential morphs it may develop into. If a mimic has a consistent supply of food, it will develop more human-like features. It will grow skin, hair, and by the end will look nearly identical to a human being. It now can blend entirely into civilization and lure other humans more effectively. The second type of morph happens when a mimic receives an overabundance of food. It will grow into a larger, more evolved hunter. Its proportions will increase in length, and its humanoid features will fade away. It grows a thick, dark coating of a flexible skin, which is highly durable, and increases in strength the more the elder mimic consumes. This excludes the face, which is now coated in a pale pink skin. The mimic's teeth have also moved deeper into the mimic's throat, leaving its mouth a toothless grin. It uses the dark hue of its skin to hide seamlessly within a dark environment. Its skills have also been heightened. This makes an elder mimic one of the most efficient predators on the planet. Because of the obvious threat this poses on humanity, nations around the world have released instructions on how to be able to fend for yourself in a mimic encounter. Here are the instructions.
1. Avoid going out alone if your location is known to have mimics, or there have been mimic sightings. 2. If you encounter a stationary mimic, seemingly unfazed by your presence, quietly leave the location and alert your local authorities. 3. If pursued by a mimic, get yourself into a position where you are able to flee. Mimics will rarely attack if a person has a clear escape route. 4. In the event that you have been cornered by a mimic, roll into the fetal position, protecting your neck, face, and vital organs from attack. Make as much noise as you can to alert any other people. 5. If you have a weapon, do not use it. A mimic is fairly resilient, and any strikes or shots on a mimic is not effective enough to bring it down in time. Instead, use it as a barrier between you and the mimic to block any attacks. 6. In a situation where a mimic is hunting in the immediate area, and is not aware of your position, hide somewhere low, like under a bed or behind other furniture. A mimic will not linger too long to search for prey, and will move on.
Be safe, and avoid any encounters with a mimic at all costs. Next up, the Harvester.
Ooh, the Harvester. It's just so well made. Vita Carnis, man. It was always so good. Documentary 5, Harvesters. Not to be confused with the restaurant.
The Harvester. The harvester is a large, bulbous mass, with a large amount of tendrils spreading from the base. The bulb measures around 3 meters in height and 2 meters in diameter. The tendrils, on the other hand, can extend up to 150 meters in diameter horizontally. The harvester is a specialized form of crawl that grows in a unique and deadly way. A harvester is created when a node, that will grow into a harvester, instead of separating, continues to grow. Eventually, it will grow tendrils of its own. It uses the energy provided by its mother branch and expands its reach further. Its tendrils, hidden just below the surface of the ground. The harvester is equipped with 2 types of specialized tendrils. The first type is bulky and flat. They lie the closest to the surface. These branches are lined on each length of the tendril with spines, extending in the shape of a bear trap. On each side of the branch, those particular spines have a vein that feed into them, that pump 2 types of venom. On one side, the spines can inject a neurotoxin, which will attack the nervous system of whomever it is injected into, causing sudden paralysis. The other side can inject an anticoagulant, which when injected, prevents blood cells from clotting. Whenever a large animal moves across the area armed with these tendrils, the branches will clamp onto the animal and thrash violently. Once the prey has been injected with both venoms, the tendrils will rest and the prey will immediately collapse. The animal will be unable to move due to the paralysis, and the wounds caused by the thrashing spines will not stop bleeding. All the prey can do is lie patiently, until succumbing to blood loss. Once the prey has bled out, the second type of tendrils come in. They lie below the spine equipped once. These branches are thick, but very sturdy. They share similar anatomy to the small branches of the crawl, equipped with organelle that absorbs nutrients. These tendrils sense the blood, and move their way to the surface and begin to absorb the vital fluid. Once the blood has been consumed, the tendrils will wrap around the body and begin to shuffle downwards. This movement loosens the soil and slowly pull the body underground. Once secure, the tendrils will continue to feed until there is nothing but scraps. The nourishment absorbed by the tendrils will be sucked back into the main bulb of the harvester. This bulb houses all the vital organs and the venom glands that pump into the spines. The nutrients are then converted into usable energy. The remains underground decompose, providing a rich soil, causing very prominent plant growth, which then attracts more animals. A strange behavior the harvester displays is its choice of diet. The spines will only activate on larger animals, allowing smaller ones to pass by unaffected. The spines will also not activate on some species of bird. There are a couple theories as to why this happens. One, it could be that attacking smaller animals would cost too much energy for what they get in return, making it not worth the time. Another could be that smaller animals may attract larger animals or predators, allowing a safe place where prey may thrive and lure more predators. It truly is astonishing. Although it is a spectacular creature, it is also very dangerous. The harvester is decently rare, only populating sparse areas in the northern hemisphere and woodland forests. If you are stung by a harvester, there will be no way of helping you, being that there is no cure, and fatality is 100% positive. The best thing you can do is avoid encountering a harvester in the first place. If you are hiking, take note of any warnings or signs saying that there are harvesters around. If you also notice an abundance of lush, ground-dwelling plants in a forested area, and there are no signs of wildlife, this is suspicious and you should leave the area, staying close to the base of large trees or rocks. If you find yourself in the middle of a harvester ground, do not panic. Sudden movements may activate the tendrils and will inject you. Although a harvester is rather forgiving, do not risk any skittish movements. Remain calm. If you have any objects with considerable heft, like coats, backpacks, or full water bottles, gently take that object and lightly toss it towards the bulb, and away from your escape route. This will activate the spines on where the object lands, distracting the bulb for a moment. You will then slowly begin to do wide shuffles away from the bulb. If possible, throw another object when you are certain you are a fair enough distance away, just to be safe. Continue until you are completely sure you are out of harm's way. You may come out unscathed, but don't be too obnoxious, or you will be a harvester's next meal.
Don't be too obnoxious.
Next up is the host.
Ooh, the host. These are also... Oh, God, excuse me. These are also pretty creepy. Pretty creepy.
The host of influence. The host of influence, more commonly referred to as the host, has its name derived from a host who invites guests to an event. Not to be confused with a host, a harborer of parasites or disease. The host is a semi-humanoid looking organism. It has the structure of a head, torso, and arms. Other than this, it shares no other characteristics. The lower half of the host is comprised of a mass of fibrous tissue and tendrils that burrow into the ground to hold the host in place. Instead of skin, the host is covered in muscular tissue fibers, tendons, and veins. In some parts of the body are covered in a meaty plate, used to cover any large exposed areas, but allowing movement. The host's head has a smooth surface where the face should be, attached to a crooked neck, which houses a slit in the front used for feeding. On the host's back is a mound of pores. Protruding from these pores are hollow, hair-like structures, extending outwards. These hairs are barrels that release spores produced within host's body by being fired into the air. These spores are hazardous, so keep clear of them at all costs. Luckily, the host is rare, only found in North America. Obtaining info about the host is a very risky and daunting task. This is because of their rarity and of how dangerous it is to be up close to one. The spores released by a host is very dangerous when inhaled. A host will release a cloud of spores into the air, which will be picked up by wind and carried great distances. If an organism inhales the spores, the particles will find their way into the organism's brain and infect them. An infected organism will show no symptoms of infection right away, but a couple hours after infection the infected organism's behavior and thought process will change. The first symptoms that appear are restlessness, sluggish movement, numbness of joints, and lack of coordination. Then more serious symptoms appear over time. These include dizziness, migraines, impaired speech, and trembles. If you, or someone you know show these symptoms, contact poison control or emergency services. After a total of 6 to 7 hours after infection, the organism will cease all activities they were previously doing and begin to walk. The direction the infected will walk is towards the host whose spores have been inhaled by the infected individual. If the infected makes their way to the host, they will kneel down in front of it, expose their vital organs, and the host will promptly gut and remove those organs. The host will consume them and discard the leftover scraps. However, if an infected organism doesn't reach the host within a 36-hour span or is treated for their infection, the effects will wear off and return back to normal. If a host is unable to find prey or doesn't like its current location, it will unroot itself and move to a new location. Their scarce numbers and the hazard of being around one makes getting info about the host very daunting. All you need to currently know is that the host is extremely dangerous and should be avoided at all costs. Next, the monoliths.
The monoliths. The massive megastructure Vita Carnis creatures.
The monoliths. The monolith is a very new creature, only showing up in June of 1972, in the area of. There are only 7 monoliths, all of them located in a circular position, 1.5 kilometers in diameter. This ring of monoliths surrounds. The monolith is a Titanic-sized being, measuring roughly 120 meters in height. Each monolith has 2 trunk legs that are firmly embedded underground. The legs connect to a torso. The creature itself is made of hundreds of thousands of meaty strands, tightly woven together to form the structure. These strands end at the neck, fusing into a solid mass of hardened flesh in the shape of an upside-down triangle, with a hole in its center. On each side of the monolith where arms would be, there are dozens of long, rope-like appendages. These reach just barely to the ground. At the creature's feet, the strands go deep into the earth and extend horizontally a decent distance away. What the monoliths do is simply stand and do nothing. The only activity documented that the monoliths have done was in. During this period, they were extremely aggressive. When the group of were making their way to the city, the monolith that they had passes roared a deep bellow and swung its appendages at the team, completely wiping them out. When military vehicles were dispatched, once they got close enough to top the monolith, it roared another call, this time releasing an EMP blast, completely knocking the vehicles out in the vicinity. Finally, long-distance rockets were fired and struck the creature. Although damaged, it regenerated at great speed, and resumed its stance unscathed. Eventually, the area has been fenced off and is now restricted to all. Ever since, the monolith stands silently, now only a grand spectacle of awe and mystery, only adding more questions to these meat beings. And finally, the last creature on this list is marvelous and majestic world that exists today. It's as extraordinary to have such strange and mysterious beings appear all around us. Thank you for joining us on this journey of exploration and discovery of the lives of these living meat creatures.
So I remember in the full one where he's put all the stuff together, I think at the end of it, it does show you the last thing. Yeah, here we go.
The singularity is an orb comprised of a dark-colored mineral with hints of luminous colors within its core. The singularity is estimated to be 1 meter in diameter. The orb has several unique qualities that are not well understood. The singularity typically can be found suspended in air by an unseen force. There are also a variety of reading that have been documented coming from the orb itself. Various things like magnetic fields, energy signatures, and other pattern-like signals released by the singularity. The population of these creatures is unknown. Almost all info about the singularity is hidden or confiscated by officials. We were only able to receive one classified document about the singularity being held by... Marvelous and majestic world that exists today. It's as extraordinary.
And that ends that little bit. And then I think, yeah,
This
here we
could be
go.
The greatest discovery of the age.
Cook troll.
Let this feeling in.
Have any information of the whereabouts of...
We may be making a dish that has recently gained a fair amount of popularity. Today's dish will be a cheesy crawl penne.
So gross.
To start off, these will be the ingredients you will need. 3 cups of penne pasta. Roughly 3 cups worth of fresh crawl. Try to get a variety of sizes when you buy yours, or when you harvest them yourself. 1 cup of cheese. Half a cup of green onion. 1 teaspoon of salt. 2 tablespoons of Cajun spice. 2 tablespoons of parsley. 1 tablespoon of dill. 1 tablespoon of garlic. A pinch of pepper. And finally, the most crucial ingredient, Nutrier Company's newly released Flavor Enhancer. To bring out the richness of flavors within each and every meal. First, get a medium-sized pot and fill half of it with water.
It's just the strangest thing, this video. But that's the point.
Add a pinch of salt, which is used to help the pot come to a boil faster and help flavor the pasta. Then, set aside to boil. Grab your crawl and a sharp knife. Begin to cut the meat into a rough mince.
You right, Laugh. It is certainly a W day, isn't it? Glad you're beating those bosses, man. Good stuff. The extra sound effects just
Crawl is
horrific.
soft on the outside, but the interior has a surprising sturdiness. Then,
Just look
gather
at
the meat and set aside.
It's just disgusting. Mortimer Free's giving you a tough time, man. You got this. You got this. You know it, Laugh.
Mince the green onion into rough segments.
Yeah, on the same dirty board. Where you just cut up raw
Take
meat.
this mince
Yeah,
and set
yeah.
aside as well.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Next, grab your skillet and preheat with along some oil.
You even talk about getting sick. Oh god, this looks so gross, isn't it?
Take your minced crawl and spread it evenly across the skillet. Stir occasionally until crisp and brown. As your water reaches a boil, add your penne and stir occasionally. Cook until soft.
It's so quiet.
At this time, your crawl will be brown and crisp.
Yeah, totally not the same thing.
Add your minced green onion and then the spices. Mix well. Once your pasta is finished cooking, strain it. Lay your cooked penne evenly into your dish.
Just looks
Then add the crawl topping.
Oh, God. No sauce or anything. Yeah, it's fine.
Sprinkle a generous amount of cheese along the still warm crawl for it to melt. At this point, finish preparing the dish with your flavor enhancer, but allow your dish to cool to a temperature below 60 degrees Celsius, or else the enhancer will not work. And now, you may serve and enjoy.
You have to make sure to put the enhancer on, or else your flavor won't be enhanced. Who are they? See, and that has to get so loud compared to the video. Just silly. More to come.
Many people get pets for companionship. They form bonds and grow relationships with these animals, even to the point of them being considered a part of the family. Most people get dogs or cats, but maybe you want something more interesting. Then, you may want to get yourself a trimming. These lumps of meat have grown a reputation to be a loving companion for many people in the recent months. Although, most people may not know the proper ways to care for them. Today, we will be showing you how you can care for your pet trimming. Taking care of a trimming is fairly easy, but this is no reason to slack off. They are living things and do require maintenance. The first thing to keep in mind when keeping a trimming is the temperature of your home. While trimmings are resilient to both high and low conditions, you want to keep your base temperature near room temp, maybe slightly cooler. That being said, trimmings prefer warmer areas to nest. A simple setup you may use is a box with some blankets on the inside. Make sure there is enough for your trimming to cover itself. And now, you have a comfy bed for your buddy. Next, you want to give your trimming the best diet possible. Trimmings are not picky eaters, and will eat anything you give them. To keep your trimming healthy and strong, a diet of dry cat or dog food that is high in protein, provided 2 times a day, is best. As a treat, you may give your trimming any scraps of your food. Things like apple cores, banana peels, or eggshells are a perfect snack. A thing to remember is trimmings are nocturnal and make plenty of noise. To prevent you from having sleepless nights, try to give your trimmings first meal in the late morning or afternoon. This helps them be active during these times instead. Another thing to consider if you want a pet trimming is where they will be living. Your home should have enough space for your trimming to roam around, as well as access to the outdoors, like a backyard. If not, be sure to take your trimmings on regular walks.
Oh, yes.
This gives your trimming the exercise they need, as well as allowing them to meet other trimmings. Trimmings are a social creature and need to interact with others of their kind, like how they do in the wild.
Like how they do in the
When it comes to
wild.
entertainment, trimmings are not the most active and aren't the best at fetch or tug of war. But here are other ways to keep your trimming entertained. Some toys that trimmings like are little items they can push, around, pull, or carry. Trimmings also enjoy things that you enjoy as well, like watching the television or listening to the radio. They love seeing and listening to all the funny things coming from the devices. After a long day, your trimming might be dirty and need a wash. To clean them, start your bath with a gentle warm water mixed with a bit of hand or body wash. Gently scrub the trimming's feet, armpits, belly, and neck fold. Remember to be careful around their face and avoid getting soap in their eyes, nose, and mouth. Gently pat dry with a towel when done. Now your buddy is all clean.
Oh my god. Just horrifying.
And lastly, as said before, trimmings are social creatures, so be sure to give them plenty of affection. They love receiving pats, scratches, and pets. They also love to sit with you and cuddle. Since they communicate with each other in the wild, it is best to replicate this behavior with them as well. Simply talking to them is plenty enough. You can talk about your day, if anything interesting happened at work, if you are working on any new recipes, or talk about the weather. Trimmings are very good listeners and love to be involved. With all of these in mind, you are now well equipped to have a trimming become a part of the family. Do things right, and you will have a companion for a long while.
Oh, so funny. Trimming is a pet. It's funny. It's very funny. Meat snake specimen. I wonder if this is the big one. Discard this tape immediately. Well, too late for that.
In the year of 1945,
it is the
with
big
the
tunnel
war
one.
finally ended, the cleanup process had started. During routine sweep of an underground train tunnel, the cleanup crew made a grotesque discovery. Found completely filling the tunnel was a meaty wall, and in the center of the mass was an opening with several skulls surrounding it. Closer inspection of the blockage revealed that the mass was actually an extremely engorged meat snake. Its impeccable size had blocked off the entirety of the tunnel's path. There was many strange things with this creature. First was the coloration. A typical meat snake's color is bright reds and light browns. This particular meat snake was a very deep maroon. Another strange thing about it was its behavior. This creature barely moved. Meat snakes are normally sluggish and encumbersome, but the specimen discovered seemed to lack even basic motor functions. Its behavior was that of a plant's, stationary, with only minor movements within. one would assume it was dead. The reason the meat snake may act this way may be because it was completely lodged in place and minimized movements to conserve energy. But how would it have gotten this deep into the tunnel in the first place? And by the looks of weathering, it had been in there for quite some time. So how did it get so large? The answer was discovered by a different cleaning crew, who found the other end of the tunnel. They followed it until it met with the other end of the meat snake. Alongside it was a huge pile of
corpses.
This meat snake's skin also displayed great amounts of resilience. It took several days of cutting to even obtain a sample. Here, you can see the clear difference between this meat snake specimen versus a normal meat snake's membrane. Testing on the sample showed that it had great immunity to damage. It tolerated extreme freezing temperatures, extreme heat temperatures, and even high doses of radiation. It is a wonder how such durability can occur in an organic creature. Another strange phenomenon is the smell off the skin. Normally, it would have a sour smell of rotting flesh. But the specimen displayed a rather pleasant smell, like that of cooking scrambled eggs. Meat snake was later discovered to be
scrambled eggs are nice.
How the meat snake grew in size was discovered to be
well, it had a plentiful supply of corpses down in that tunnel. That's how it grew so big. The problem was, couldn't leave. It got too big from all the bodies because it was a war. Ooh. Mimic defense instructional tape. Why did it skip that one? I don't know. I skipped that one. That's all right. Oh, god damn. Oh, give me a sec. Guess we might cut it off here at the moment. I might switch to kind of a horror game, I'm thinking. But I might need a little break first. So I will decide. Because I've got home safety hotline, which looked quite interesting. Could jump into that. I don't know. I'll give it some thought. But either way, on Tuesday we got Outlast Trials. We're definitely doing that. That is for sure happening. Oh yeah, I think I need a little break. I'll decide whether I do another horror game or something. Oh yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Might be doing more tomorrow as well. But we will see. We will see. But I think this will wrap it up for the time being. Thank you guys very much for having a good little time with me. I always greatly appreciate it. Oh man. Yeah, I'm gonna go have like some dinner and sort myself out.